Hello, and welcome to episode 46 of the Sisters in Service podcast. I am your host, Kat Corchado, and today we're going to be speaking to Joanna Sansoterra, who is with the Onward to Opportunity, also called O2O. So if you've ever wanted to change your job, maybe you want to get a certification, maybe you're looking to be an entrepreneur, O2O is specifically for women veterans. So listen in as we get to talk to Joanna about her organization, about her transition, and how to make that transition easier, whether it's changing from one job to another or actually transitioning from the military. So let's get on with the interview. My guest today is Joanna Sansoterra from Onward to Opportunity. And she's going to tell us a little bit about her organization and other avenues of her organization, specifically for women veterans. So help me welcome Joanna Sansoterra. Welcome.
Hello, Kat. Oh my gosh, it's great to be here. Thank you so much for this time to share about our program and all the things we offer for women veterans. It's just amazing. Thanks so much.
You're so welcome. So I found Onward to Opportunity at a V2I. So that's the industry event. And I was just so blown away by what they did. I immediately went to their website and I thought, holy crap, I have to ask if they want to be on my podcast, because I'm on this mission for the women veterans that listen. I want to get every opportunity to get every organization out there that helps women veterans so that you know about this. Maybe you heard about it and forgot about it. Maybe you don't know about it. So we're here to clear up that little blurb there so you know exactly what it is and why you should be a part of it. So Joanna, I understand that you are an Air Force veteran.
Oh my gosh, yes, I am. I spent a wonderful career in the Air Force, originally from San Diego, California, and I'm back home now. But started here, enlisted after a couple years of community college because that wasn't my jam. So it turned out that I just retired. Well, not just recently, but in 2016, I started out as an administrator back in the day, and I worked in Intel, which was kind of fun. And I did a active duty tour, and then I went into the Air Force Reserve, and I flipped over to air medical evacuation, and crazy me, I applied to become a recruiter for the Air Force Reserve. So that actually put me back on active duty, and spent my last 15 years doing that, and it was really a phenomenal experience. I know sometimes the connotation of, the term recruiter is, car salesman or something like that. But I found, right. I mean, look, I've heard all the stories. People go, oh, you were a recruiter, Joanna. Yeah. Okay. But my time with the Air Force Reserve was not a hard sell. We have a great, or still have, I'm pretty sure they have a good program. So it really was in my wheelhouse to assist those folks kind of, who were like me, maybe just out of high school and not really knowing what they want to do. So, I left in 2016, retired, and now I'm with, ever since I've been with Onward to Opportunity.
Well, I think it's interesting that I always appreciate those recruiters that told the truth. They didn't hold it back. They didn't say, oh, you're going to have, a window view with, a poolside, those. I had a recruiter that just, I wanted to go in the Navy at one point. And he said, look, you grew up in the Air Force. Your dad was Air Force. He goes, stay in your lane. And I said, okay. So I did. I stayed in my lane. And I didn't regret a bit of it. I love the fact that I, followed in my dad's footsteps and did it. But I don't think I would have gone into any other branch only because I wasn't sure what it was about. When you grow up in a branch, you're kind of like, oh, let me go here because I know that the best. So you go into the Air Force, you did 33 years.
Total time. Yeah, I know.
Good grief. That's a lot. So then you transition. Tell me a little bit about your transition experience.
Well, I was getting ready to retire. My last assignment was on the East Coast. So, I had to figure out how I was going to find work all the way on the West Coast. So I had to start early in that job search and all that entails. I mean, you're talking about learning a new language, Kat, right? I was, institutionalized in the military, and that's what that was my
talking
jam.
in those
So,
acronyms and that
yeah,
military speak.
yeah, exactly. So, I used the internet, made some, in San Diego, of course, there's a multitude of veteran service organizations. This is probably, if not the largest, location with military folks. So there wasn't a shortage. I happened to fall into a couple of different organizations out here that were really life-changing for me. One of them was vetctap.org here in San Diego. Local, program basically took out all the cobwebs and the stress from transitioning because it's a roller coaster ride. You don't know what you're getting into. They helped me realize and see that I had exactly what it took to make it out in the civilian sector. You come from the military with a lot of phenomenal skills, right? We're not used to talking about ourselves, so we have to learn how to talk about ourselves in these glowing, words.
How wonderful you are, how you walk on water, that type of thing.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, exactly. So from there, I think one of the things that is really huge in making that transition for our women service members is, well, this is what I see in my work. Folks are going to throwing out hundreds of resumes versus what I always say is, hey, you got to do that first step, which is grinding and, takes a lot of due diligence. And that is to determine what it is that you want to do. And why not put the work in now, right? Since you're making that transition, and go for it. So I thought I wanted to still continue to work in the government sector. Granted, I work with my demographic is veterans, right? But I found that the nonprofit sector was for me, and I used a lot of different tools to figure that out. I ended up this past year graduating with a master's in nonprofit leadership and management, and I happened to get a position with Onward Opportunity, which is a nonprofit organization, and it's a good fit. And so I got lucky, but what I do want to say is that it was a pain in the butt to do all that, hard work, you got to look inward and all that kind of stuff. But in the end, it's very well worth it, because I find that this particular job and who I am, the Institute for Veterans and Military Families, that entire organization aligns with who I am, my values, what I'm looking for, right?
Right.
So, it was stressful, I'm not going to lie. And I know that all of us go through that. But if there's one thing I could, say to those, transitioning service women is take the time, honest to God, take the time to figure out what you want to do. Reach out to folks, definitely reach out. It's difficult too, because, if you don't speak the language, you don't know what to say. If you don't know you don't know exactly what questions to ask. But
and you have to network. You have to know how to speak to people without sounding like you just walked out of a military dictionary. And
so
you
true.
have to know how to do that. But you also have to, and people say, well, how far out? As far out as you need to think about this. If it's 5 years from retirement or whatever, start thinking about it then. Because I run into so many people, male and female, who don't understand who they are without the uniform on.
Yes.
Like, who are you? If you
Right.
don't, in uniform, you're sergeant, colonel, whatever. Outside of the
Right.
uniform, without it on, who are you when you're in civilian clothes? And people don't know who that person is. And so it's easy to say, oh, find out what you want to do. But you have to actually find out what that is. And I think what's awesome right now is that you have different, I don't know what to call it, but like Skill Bridge. Okay, you're able to try this out for, say, okay, yeah, that was great. That's not my deal. Let me try something else. Whereas before you had to, try it on the outside and go, okay, I'm getting fired because I don't like this job or I'm quitting, and it took several false starts before you find what it is that you really want. Here's a question for you. Do you find that since you've retired, do you think it's easier? The transition is easier for men and women, or do you think it's easier only because if the military person reaches out and finds out what organizations are around, or do you think it's hardcore still?
Well, that has probably answers on both sides of the aisle. I think we all know that there are so much more opportunities and organizations out there that are helping transitioning service members, right? The thing is to, through networking, is to find out, okay, which ones are going to help me with that thing that I need right now, right? And which ones are, have some foundation, right? Maybe a little history in working with other folks and successes there. So, I would say it's still difficult in the mindset, right? But you just got to push out of that mindset, of the fear. I know that's so easy to say, Kat, so really easy to say, but and know that everybody's journey is so different too, right?
Right.
There's not one journey that is exactly the same. So I encourage our women veterans to realize that and know that, if you're looking over here and you see, somebody over here doing this and it's amazing and it's wonderful, great, but and you want to follow that, but is that really you? Like you said, you have to know yourself. You have to get in there and know yourself. So
I think it's different too. When my dad retired, I think he retired on a Friday and went to go work for McDonnell Douglas, which is now called Boeing, the following Monday. And that's just old school. That just doesn't happen anymore. A lot of times is, you find a job and you think, okay, great. And then you get into that format of that organization and you say, this isn't going to fit me. So you might have 2 or 3 false starts before you find out, where you really fit in. And you know what? That's okay, because you know what doesn't work for you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then you end up finding what does work for you.
And I know that there's, and I don't know if the statistic, but there's a statistic out there where, veterans go out and they might change jobs in the first, several months, a handful of times. And maybe because they didn't have enough time to figure out, what they wanted to do, or, hey, you got to pay the bills, right? So you got to get out there.
Oh yeah, those.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Yes.
So that just goes back to everybody's journey is different. Knowing yourself is the thing, and knowing your values and doing some of that research on, businesses, organizations that, align with you. That's what I really feel.
I think you should do your homework. There are a lot of organizations out there right now. So if you've got 3-4 years prior, take 5 or 10 at a time and just research them on the weekends, or when you're off, and then scratch it off, say no, or maybe it's not a not right now. Maybe it's yes, exactly when I'm within 2 years, and keep going through that until you've got about 10 organizations that you could readily reach out to. And I would recommend, and this is just me, reaching out and getting connected prior to leaving the service.
Yes.
That's so essential. So if you wait like I did, because I didn't know any better, and you just find yourself in, you're dropping off that cliff in this free float, and you don't know where you're going. So let's change course a little bit. Tell us a little bit about Onward to Opportunity.
Oh, the joy of my days. Onward to Opportunity. Well, we are career preparation program. We fall under the Institute for Veterans and Military Families, better known as the IVMF. And it's our home base is located at Syracuse University. So just a little background on the IVMF real quick. Our founder, Dr. Michael Haney, he was a veteran, Air Force veteran as well, working at Syracuse and working in entrepreneurship. He's a professor and currently right now also vice chancellor. But he started the Institute primarily with entrepreneurship programs, and then he branched out. So one of the branches is Onward to Opportunity. And basically what we do is work with our transitioning service members, veterans, guardsmen, and military spouses to help them obtain business certifications, which is really, really hot right now. Certifications like project management, human resources, and we also have a slew of IT certifications. I mean, this is just phenomenal. And
cybersecurity is huge right now too.
Oh yeah, and we definitely have CISSP, which is the hot one for our cyber folks. So we take them along into obtaining those certifications, and then the back end of what we do is we also assist them with employment. We have close to 900. I'm thinking we've got more than that. I know we do. Businesses, corporations nationwide that work with us, and they're ready to take our graduates, right? And the beautiful thing about this is our program is no cost to our folks.
I love that. That's for these places that come out and say, oh, and I speak to these people all the time. They're like, oh, I love veterans and I love working with veterans. I'm like, oh, so how do you help veterans? And they say, oh, they can have my coaching course for like 20% off. And I'm like, that's not helping. No, that doesn't. No, I don't know how to get across to them. So who is this program for? So let's say I've been out of the military for 10, 15 years. Yeah, can I actually enroll in one of your programs?
Yes, you can. One of the things that is required, we are a grant operated, grant funded and all that. So, with grants, sometimes there comes restrictions. Also, we fall under the DoD Skill Bridge program, right? So folks, if you're a veteran, you just have to provide proof of an honorable discharge, right? That's it. That's mainly
the good old DD 214.
DD 214 and honorable discharge. And and then you just attend one of our information sessions. I mean, you go online, you fill out a short, form, and wherever your location is, we'll connect you with a coordinator that's close to you, that we have an O2O installation. We have about 18 installations, right? Co-located with military bases. But I understand that some folks are not, they're not near those locations. So we do have what we call the online only program. So if you're located over there in Omaha, Nebraska, I pick out Omaha because that was my first Air Force base, Offutt Air Force Base.
Do you know I was at Offutt for 12 years? I was stuck there for 12 years. 12 years. Yes. My son was in fourth grade when we got there. He went through the entire school system, including college. He's still there in Omaha, by the way. He's still there.
You're kidding me.
No, he's still there.
Okay, no, that was my first assignment. So I got off the airplane. It was 2 degrees below zero. I'm from Southern California. It did not work for me.
You're like, no, let me go home. Let me go somewhere warmer.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt you. I just thought that was funny.
No, that's small world, Kat. So So yeah, if you're not located near one of those 18 installations, you still can participate because we have the online only program, which is similar. The only difference is when you're at one of our installations, you actually get the opportunity to participate in one of our workshops. It's a 3-day workshop. Well, actually, it depends on what location you're going to, but here in Southern California, it's 3 days. Right now, it's virtual because, the COVID stuff going on.
Right.
And we prep our folks. It's like taps on steroids. This is just, it's the real deal. It's truth speaking. This is really the way it is. And also providing them with, we're going to prepare them to go out there to actually job seek and not just tell you about getting a resume done or something like this, right? It's a lot deeper than that. And we pride ourselves on providing a very safe space for our military community to come in those 3 days and, chit chat about those fears so we can knock those things out. And so everybody can know that, hey, we're all in the same boat, but we've got some answers for you here. And in the meantime, you're going to jam on that certification and make yourself, super marketable, because these certifications, in some cases, most cases these days, businesses are looking for that certification versus,
yes, they are.
Maybe that education, So that's a little bit about Onward to Opportunity, of course. And then we've got the entrepreneurship programs, Kat, and these two are also at no cost. We have, I remember a couple of years ago, we had our VWISE team come out to San Diego, and VWISE stands for Veteran Women Igniting the Spirit of Entrepreneurship.
Yes.
And oh man, that was like, I felt like I was the Academy Awards or something. It was awesome. So we have a lot of entrepreneurship programs, different levels, whether you're a startup, whether you're growing, or just sustainment. We've got a research arm. We work with DoD. Actually, we just had the Onward to Opportunity Act go through the legislature. And
congratulations. That's a big deal.
It is a big deal. We've got a phenomenal research team, and we collaborate with Blue Star Families, Wounded Warrior Project, Travis Manion. So we're really connected. And also we have community services programs throughout the United States as well. So we just, at the IVMF, our North Star is helping our veteran community, our military community, get to where they want to be, right? Whatever it is, whether it's business or certifications.
And I think there's something to be said that I think sometimes the fear of doing something different, especially when you're transitioning out of the military. And I truly believe that the longer you're in the military, the harder your transition is. I'm just going to say it. I just think it's just a little bit harder. But the fear is when you stand still and you do nothing and you just think how horrible it's going to be because you've heard all the stories. But when you've got an opportunity to do SkillBridge or IVMF or VWISE or any of those programs, that there's something to be said about reducing the fear because you're being proactive. That you think maybe this isn't going to be so bad because I'm being proactive. And I truly believe that the military TAPS program, look, either make it better or get rid of it. Okay. Either or, because it's done nothing. I mean, I transitioned over 21 years ago and excuse me for saying this, it sucks as bad now as it did before. It's a little bit better. And I know that there are people out there who are trying to do the right thing by people who are transitioning, but seriously, they do the absolute minimum, which isn't even, scratching the surface, so to speak. So, I'd rather they say, look, this is the part where we tell you what paperwork that you need to get out of the military. But here is a program that you might want to be involved with,
Right.
I would much rather they did that than say, okay, here's all you need. And then you get out thinking that's all I need. And no, it's not even close.
I hear you. I don't know if I'll get into this chitter chatter about that. I will say that I see that there are a number of folks that are trying to make some really concrete changes to that program, and hopefully those changes will come about because it's needed. Our folks need the information, not only when they're getting ready to transition out, but prior to. One of the things I did want to comment on, because we do have, maybe your audience, I'm sure, are still active duty. I always talk about this too. It's just the commands, the commanders. And I know it's a difficult, it's kind of like a tight squeeze because you got the mission that needs to be taken care of, and then you've got your folks heading out. But we really want the commanders to provide, as much time as possible for these folks to make that transition seriously. I mean, the commanders themselves will end up making that transition, and they'll want, that particular time as well, right?
Of course.
So I just try to talk a lot about that. If you're in a leadership position, look at your folks, and if they're transitioning, moving out into the civilian sector, try and give them the time that they need to do what they have to do, because it makes a difference. It really does.
I think so too, especially if they've done a great job. They've just been an outstanding airman, first sergeant, whatever their rank is. Help them a little bit, because eventually you're going to be there too, and you're going to hope that somebody's there to help you. So, Joanna, tell us a little bit about how to find your organization if people are searching.
Right. Well, you can go to, it's ivmf.syracuse.edu. You can go there, and that will take you to the main website, and you can look for programs, and you'll see everything: entrepreneurship, career training, community services. Everything will be there.
Oh yeah, I was clicking everywhere. I was like, "Ooh, what's this? Ooh, what's this? Ooh, what's this?"
Oh yeah.
I was all over the place.
There's an apply button to O2O. So there's an apply button to O2O, and it's just a short form. Like I said, you fill that out, and the coordinator will send you an email and invite you to an information session. So normally that information session is just that 1 hour where folks go, we talk about eligibility, the certifications that we offer, and then, the application process to participate in one of the cohorts at one of the installations. For example, here in Southern California, my program manager and I, Catherine Warren, she's also retired from the Marine Corps. We have 8 cohorts out here annually, right? So, we look, if you're a transitioning service member, you must be within that 180 days based on the DoD skill bridge regulation, before you can start one of the cohorts. We always like to tell folks, hey, apply sooner rather than later, because our cohorts fill up fast. And for the active duty folks, there's some paperwork that, the command has to sign off on. And the rigmarole of that. Sometimes it takes a long time.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And do your homework, do your homework. And, I'm there, Joanna's there, reach out to either one of us, if you need any help. But Joanna, thank you so much for your time today. It was such a pleasure speaking with you and learning more about IVMF and O2O and all the programs that you guys help with veterans. You guys have to do a little homework. Okay. You just have to do a little homework. And the better you are at doing your homework now before you leave service, the better your transition is going to go. I'm just going to put it out there. This is I'm speaking from the heart. I'm speaking from experience. I had squat. There was nothing there when I got out. I figured it out. But if I'd had something like this in my back pocket, I would have been like, excuse me, I would have gone through every program they have.
Yeah, take advantage.
I said that Cat Corchado person, if she applies for something, tell her no.
Nice, Cat.
Well,
Kat,
Joanna,
thank you. Thank you for the opportunity, and thank you for what you're doing to help women and veterans. It's just important work, really important work, and you're doing it wonderfully. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much. I just see this need there, and I'm willing to do my part, whatever it is I can do, to get that information out there, then I'm willing to do it. And speaking to organizations and, putting myself on Instagram Live and Facebook Live, which I hate, by the way, but I do it anyway, to get the word out because women need to know. And I feel like the men take care of the men, but, we're helping the women. We're out there for you guys. Let us know how we can help. And so I hope you learned a little bit more about Joanna and about her organization. And we will make sure that we have links to all of it so you guys can just click and go and check out the website. And as always, thank you so much for listening. Follow me, subscribe to my podcast if you like what you hear. And please stay safe, take care of each other. And until next time.